It is 8:36 p.m., November 6th, 2023. Hi. For like 2 days now, I've been getting the message to do a reading for someone who's having issues with anger, but it's like weird anger. It's some kind of I don't know, I saw it's playing out as a bunch of like TV shows and stuff. So I'm going to do a quick reading just to get a breakdown or rundown, TLDR of it, and I'll give you some advice, okay? Remember, this isn't, don't bring drama into this, don't bring any kind of, like, if you're watching this reading, it's because you want help with whatever is in the title or something, like you're actually looking for help, okay? What is the underlying issue with this anger you want me to read about? What's going on in the perception field of this person or these people going through this? It's causing them to have that root issue. What's fueling this? Okay, look. 21. So the root problem seems to be with the anger issue of whoever the people watching this are. And it seems to be something regarding a feminine aspect of the self. It doesn't matter if you're male or female. There's also a dog in the background that looks like Pluto. It seems like a feminine aspect of the self that was never allowed to move past a certain point. And the external perception is 12, the complete reversal or mirror of the number 21. So it's perceiving the external things going on as fake, artificial, which kind of means like unkind, uncaring. And then waiting for switching today for tomorrow, 32. It really just feels like a slow pain of something that could be, but isn't being nurtured or nourished, so that the tomorrow is a better version of today instead of a artificial placeholder experience. There's also a lot of stuff people watching have gone through that have caused themselves to create psionic barriers, mental blocks within themselves to not allow that feminine energy out. Whether you're masculine or feminine, it doesn't matter. Somewhere by the roots of your tree, there's a feminine expression of the self that isn't allowed to be expressed because of an artificial sensation within the self placed by external perceptions where you or those around you were switching today for tomorrow because it's kind of like waiting for something before they see something. See how the eyes are different here? And there's no eyes here. It's a feeling of anger due to a loss of hope or a loss of affection, a loss of tenderness that was authentic. There's also things being held on from the past within the today, which are being moved into the tomorrows. Some things that need to be let go of. Internally, remember, this is all internal within you guys watching. Me, you, this cat. Why is there fear in the expression of that energy throughout their daily life? Collective trauma and things planted in the mind, the collective mind, where that feminine energy within the self isn't allowed to be free. There's like a stigma, a spell, something where it's just kind of suppressed. It's not in the ground. It's not rooted. Where this should be this, it's this. So the anger a lot of people have felt is due to the artificialness of, I don't even know how to word this. It's like NPC mentality. It's just kind of that song "Chained to the Rhythm" from Katy Perry. I'm surprised that "Blinded to the Pain" card didn't come out. Parasite. What's with the external projection back in artificial heart? The bride is caged because she seems to want that energy is supposed to want affection and expression and tenderness and all these pink things, right? But then the expression, the thing that the feminine experiences on the outside is artificial hearts and procrastinations of today to tomorrow. Why is there a discord? Beliefs within the self that have been passed down through emotional teachings from people. It's like the way you guys saw, the way we all saw our parents behave, the feminine energy that the mothers and grandmothers and sisters express. It built a cage around how each individual person expresses that femininity in their life. If a mother figure was really more wounded, then the seeds that were planted internally are of a Nine of Wands kind of mother figure. A very stern, hard, defensive kind of figure. Very masculine energy. So then going through all the emotions does take today for tomorrow to go through all those things to see which ones are actually genuine and which ones aren't. You see the difference between what's just yours internally next to what you think is supposed to be your feminine energy. What about this today for tomorrow? Okay. It seems like there is an energetic thing among whoever is watching this video, or maybe people you're connected to, where there's anger towards the self and others, and then fake behavior towards the self and others. That seems to stem from mother wounds in the past, and father wounds, and also internal parasites and mental parasites. Things, that have become kind of like an addiction. It's kind of become the norm. But that anger, part of it, one of those threads, is due to the self and the way the self creates an artificial heart feeling towards certain things that are reminiscent of what the matriarchs in your family expressed to certain situations. So let's say your mother did something, during a conflict, and you saw that, and you made a mental note that that's how you're never going to be, or that that's how to handle it. Well, in your own life or in someone's life around you, they're angry about not being where they want to be, for example. But the problem is also within themselves, because they're not doing what they know they should be doing to get to where they want to be. And then that causes more anger, which causes more time to heal, which causes the today to be exchanged for tomorrow. And then it turns into a sideways loop. What's the advice? Other than instead of doing things, so instead of doing things that are kind of not even baby stepping you towards your more healed self, do those things. Like, do the things that step by step help you grow a better version of yourself. Even if it takes one leaf at a time to prune what, your tree of life is, and how to organize your garden, even if that's all you got. Start changing how you feel about you. Okay, how do I explain this? Let's say you want to lose weight or you want to gain weight, and every day you're either not eating enough to gain weight, or you're not eating the right things or doing the right things to lose weight, like exercise, more water, etc. And every day you do something and you're like, oh, I know I shouldn't have done that. And then you're like, oh, I'll do better tomorrow. That's that. And when you do it enough, you start going numb to the pain you're feeling because you've created an energetic parasite that helps you maintain that feeling of today for tomorrow, to not maintain this, the temple of yourself, which requires this, the bride in a cage to not be in a cage, which then goes back to this, the artificial heart cracking, so you can feel that anger and recognize within yourself that most of it is within the self that you're angry about. All the stuff the other people did, all those experiences, yeah, they were terrible. You know, a lot of crappy stuff happened to me too. But after the fact of those things, every day forward and every breath forward, if we're not freeing internally the body from feeling that pain every day, we end up building this. Because internally, part of the consciousness that you are knows that in order to break these things, we have to sometimes just go step by step. Sure, these people could have done things and taught you and trained you, traumatized you. And it's not good, it's not fair, it's not justified. And all those things, that's between you and God. What I'm here to tell you as a message, I guess, is to acknowledge what you're doing daily that you know is making you angry about your own behavior towards yourself. This has nothing to do with anyone else. These are the three cards. It has nothing to do with anyone else, just whoever you are. If you know you want to do something for yourself, with yourself, whether it's transitioning or getting healthier, losing weight, gaining weight, whatever it is that helps you feel more like yourself internally, even if it's just changing from button shirts to t-shirts or something, or adding more kale to your diet, or drinking more tea instead of coffee. And when you know you should do those things and you don't, it builds a little bit of anger. Don't let that anger become an artificial part of you that you become numb to. Because after a while, there's only so much anger that you can feel, and there's so many chains that can hold you back. But really, the hands are free. You have the keys within yourself. Which one will it be for you and yourself? I'm hoping there'll be something better for you. Because I personally also know that when you know you should do something for yourself and you don't, and your body starts suffering for it, like if you don't take care of your food intake, if you don't eat enough and then you feel tired, or if you don't drink enough water, if you isolate too much, it builds regret, and that regret appears in the body as pain. And then your consciousness and your soul recognizes that. Your inner child recognizes that and sees the adult self damaging the child self. So take better care of you. What can we do right now to help with this internal anger? Admit to yourself that you also have damaged yourself by allowing yourself to, or enabling yourself when you know you shouldn't be enabling yourself. There's a truth that's different for everybody. whatever your truth is in this situation regarding why you still allow yourself to feel angry when you eat chocolate, when if you smoke a cigarette or you drink a glass of wine or you're not exercising enough, whatever. Find that reason and look deeper. The tip of that blade goes beyond that you can see right there. So there's some truth that's hidden from you that you're going to need to use for yourself. Really be honest. Really ask yourself. And do what you can to not have arguments with the thoughts in your head, and instead try to feel your way through things with your source energy, your consciousness, God, the Most High, whatever you call the universe, and your belief system, your higher power. Connect to it internally through more than just the thoughts. Okay. I hope this helped you. I don't know if I'm going to be doing much more of these in this coming week or next week or whatever, but I'll be around. Take care of yourself. Have a nice day. Have a nice night. Whatever. And remember, if it's really detrimental to you that when you're doing it, like get help. Get some kind of assistance. If you have anger issues that are whatever, levels that you can't handle on your own or anything, ask for help. There's lots of ways to get help. But if these are just minor things that I'm being asked to read about for you, then just be aware internally of these little choices, the little things that you do day to day, that not just self-sabotage, but also create an instant regret within yourself. Like the more you do that, the more you're feeding the darkness within you. Because then you're going to have to clear all that up eventually energetically. So try to be more balanced internally and stop screwing yourself over with negative thoughts and words if you're doing that. I know I have. Um, it's just really funny to me because I learned this, just relearned it, remembered it, whatever, a few days ago. And it's so simple to me, but looking back at it, it's like I wouldn't have listened to any of this at all. Like, none of this would have mattered. Somebody was saying, oh, deal with your anger issues. Like, fuck you, bitch, I'm not doing it. But even that is part of that gilded regret, like that card. So all I can really tell you, like if I was telling myself way back when, you know what you're doing to fuck yourself up. What are you doing as a backup to fix yourself back up afterwards? It's kind of like eating sandwiches late at night and not brushing your teeth or flossing or anything and just going to bed. And then, like, after weeks getting cavities, and you're like, oh, cavities. Well, obviously. You know, that feeling of that internal kind of, I don't know if people have it, like a lot of people have it or not. Maybe if you have a friend that has it, like that internal blunt kind of a right to the point solution. Somebody that knows you, somebody that knows how you work, kind of like talk to that person. If you have a therapist, kind of maybe ask them, hey, like, can you be really blunt about how to deal with this issue instead of sugarcoating stuff? Because it's different for every situation, but the threads of it seem to be very similar, which all of them seem to tie back into a vibration of self-sabotage and being addicted subconsciously to previous patterns of parental figures and pain. So maybe at some point somebody told you pain is power. Pain isn't really power. Going through it doesn't really make you stronger. I mean, it makes you wiser, but like it's different for everybody, you know? So just don't use, don't sign up for a mentality that doesn't function with you. Just like you wouldn't eat something that someone else eats to lose weight, because maybe it works with their body and it doesn't with yours. Just be honest with yourself. To thine own self be true. Really think about those words. Really think about them. And then ask yourself, are the negative behaviors that create darkness in your life really what you want to defend? And if not, then when you do those things every day, if you do those things or think those things, shouldn't you try to stop them or change them or respond or react differently to something? You'll come to that realization eventually if you haven't already. Maybe I'm just the one late to the party or whatever. But it just seems logical after a point where it's like you know, it's kind of like Sagittarians or a Virgo trying to organize something, or a Sagittarius trying to hit an arrow at a mark until they hit it. And it can like they can shoot a million arrows, and if they miss a million ones, they'll keep trying for the next one. Or eventually they figure out how to shoot the arrow and they make it the first time. I'm telling you, like, way after that point. So you have an entire process or whatever you're going through, and that's fine. But keep this little note with you regarding anger. Most of it stems, and I'm not talking about anything that people do to piss you off. I'm talking about when you're by yourself and you're doing things that are making you angry later. The reason you do those things, part of the reason, is subconscious stuff, other people's programming, collective energies, blah, 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 blah. But is there a part of you that does it because you maybe kind of want sympathy or affection or nurturing or someone to acknowledge pain that you've experienced? Or is there a belief system that says the more you suffer, the stronger you get? Or if you suffer, you're a good person? Or there's so many little things in the mind that can distort how you live your life. So kind of do an inventory of your thoughts. If you sat down and thought about, like, paid attention to your thoughts and wrote them down, how many different ones do you have within 60 seconds? How many of them do you actually agree with? And how many of them are actually yours? You know, figure something out to figure it out, you know? There's lots of exercises, lots of techniques, lots of meditation methods you can try, that you can use. There's psychiatry, there's therapy, there's different kinds of therapy, not just talking. And remember, not just you guys, but me too. Don't listen to the thoughts. There's so much. Like, you guys, the brain is a receiver and a satellite type of thing, right? So it's like there's so much. What if like you could just tune your head and pick up a radio station and your mouth would just, speak out what the radio station's speaking? How many of your things that you say in the day originate from your consciousness and your soul? And how many are things that pop up into your head and you want to say them? How many of those things give you a reaction of anger? And then how much of that anger is a trigger and how much of it is self-sabotage? And then how do they tie together? You see, that's why I'm kind of jumping to the other point and saying, what are you doing that's making you angry? Because it's probably some kind of self-sabotage. So I hope this helps. I know the problems can be bigger. I'm kind of smushing them down just a little bit for this, half an hour video, so you can figure it out kind of from a very out there point of view. Okay, that's enough. Have a nice night. I hope this helps you. Take care of yourselves. Breathe, drink water, exercise, stretch, do a little dance. If you're avoiding sugar just because you think it's bad for you, please, at least eat something sweet. Your body has sugar receptors. It brings its, like kids love candy, your inner child still exists, Even if you're a big burly man, give yourself a bubble bath. It'll be funny. Put a rubber ducky in there if you want to. And women, like with a uterus, a womb and stuff, try to listen to what some of your men are saying to you. They're afraid to be emotional. They're afraid to be sensitive for the most part. And I don't mean like cowardly fear. I mean like a kind of disciplined, structured, like, oh no, we can't be emotional, then that means foundations are bad. No, you can it's okay to cry. Like it's actually quite healing and helpful for you to cry. It's good. It's good for you to like soft things and good fabrics and to take care of yourself and to groom yourself and to express yourself in more ways. The color pink used to be the color depicting male baby boys more than not even 100 years ago. Do what you can to honor both sides of you. Do what you can to honor the light in you, and do what you can to honor your shadow without creating more shadow. Remember, your shadow holds the stuff within you that you were too ashamed to express growing up. Spoiler. I think I'm supposed to say spoiler before that, but most of the time I'm channeling these videos, so I don't really. Sorry. So sorry. All right, I'm gonna go. Have a wonderful night, and I don't know. I hope you guys are okay. Because tuning into planet Earth or whatever this place is, it's weird. It's like really weird. I don't know. I hope you guys are all good. Anyway, have a nice night, day, or whatever.